My name is Alon College II. I am the current Alpha Omicron Alpha Chapter President of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated here at MEW. On behalf of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated and along with the partnership with MEW College of Democrats here, we would like to welcome you all to the 2017 Mayoral Candidate Forum. If there's anything else that we would like that we could do to make you feel more comfortable, please let us know. I will now introduce to y'all the moderators. Quincy Hughes, SGA President, would you raise your hand and let people know that you're here? Ezra McKee, College Democrat Vice President. Timekeeper, Robert Wilson. Now we would like to have the introduction of the candidates. Robert Smith.
Good evening. I am Robert Smith, the President Mayor of the City of Columbus. I want to thank you, the citizens of Columbus, for allowing me to serve as your mayor for the past 10 years. I also want to thank the MEW College Democrats and the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated for hosting this forum. I'm a lifelong resident of the City of Columbus. I attended high school at R.E. Hunt High School and at Lee High School, where I graduated from in 1971. I attended undergrad school at Mississippi Valley State University, where I received my BS degree. I attended Mississippi State University, where I received my master's degree in secondary administration. And I served for 31 and a half years as a classroom teacher, coach, and administrator, 17 in Lowndes County, 14 and a half in Lowndes County School District, and 17 years in the Columbus Municipal School District. My platform and vision is simple. Crime is our top priority here in the City of Columbus. So if I am re-elected, I will continue to focus on providing the resources that are needed by the Columbus Police Department and our road task force, which is handled by the Lowndes County Sheriff's Department. We've hired a consultant to come in and analyze and evaluate the police department to make the police department become more efficient, effective, and responsive. Also, from the infrastructure standpoint, is that we want to maintain and improve quality infrastructure, such as street paving, sidewalks, curbs, gutters, and storm drainage. From the educational standpoint, is that we want to continue to partner with the Columbus Municipal School System and the school board as for being a resource to provide whatever resources they need to make sure that every student gets the best education available and that every student gets quality education. From the retail and economic development standpoint, to continue with the Columbus Development Link, to continue to work with them as far as attracting high-skill, high-tech, high-paying jobs. And from a retail development standpoint, also as far as creating jobs. Neighborhood redevelopment is that working with public-private as far as working with developers as far as, for an example, it's like we're already working on redeveloping where we have a name called Columbus Cares, where we from the Farmers Home Administration received a grant of $105,000. The city put in $150,000 to whereas we are right now renovating 17 homes, and with the Extreme Makeover, who's a partnership with TVA, the City of Columbus, the Columbus Light and Water Department, is a $1.5 million grant to whereas we've completed about 117 homes to make them become energy efficient. And from the park and recreation standpoint, is that we want to work to develop a comprehensive plan, and this comprehensive plan will include youth, adults, senior citizens, and citizens with disabilities.
Thank you, Robert Smith. At this time, we will now have the overview of rules by the moderators.
Candidate, you have 3 to 4 minutes to answer each question answered by the moderator. The timekeeper will allow the candidate to know when he has reached the 3-minute mark. A drawing was held before the forum to see which candidate will answer first. After the first candidate answers the question, we will go into order of the drawing. No candidate is permitted to mention the personal character of another candidate. Candidates will speak only during the time allowed for that candidate to speak. Disruption of another candidate is not permitted. Candidates' failure to adhere to the rules will be asked to leave the stage. MEW Campus Police is on site to ensure orderly conduct of this meeting. Without further ado, let's get into the questions, please.
What three most important areas must be addressed to improve the city of Columbus?
The three most important areas that I consider that must be addressed to improve the city of Columbus would be, number one, crime, two, infrastructure, and three would be recreational activity.
What is your plan to develop future leaders who will succeed you in the future?
Repeat your question again.
What are your plans to develop future leaders who will succeed you in the future?
What we've done, the mayor's office has done so far, we've worked with the Columbus Municipal School District, with the superintendent. They have a program what they call Bridging the Gap. And with Bridging the Gap is a mentoring program to whereas the students that are interested in city government or county government to whereas the mayor does what you call mentoring, volunteers, along with the supervisors have a mentoring program to where they mentor students, to where you encourage them to get involved in politics if you want to become a politician.
How will you incorporate the faith community to improve the condition of Columbus?
How do I, what now?
Incorporate the faith community to improve the condition of Columbus.
Well, and improving the condition of Columbus from what aspect? From the safety aspect, what aspect are we referring to?
Safety.
Okay. Well, if you, from a safety standpoint, if you're referring to, like, an example, crime, in order to reduce crime, crime is a community issue. And it takes the community working together as a whole in order to reduce crime. That includes not only the politicians, the citizens within the city, the churches, and all other organizations, if we don't want to improve crime.
How important is trust between the community and the city leader, and our city leaders?
It's very important. If you don't have any trust between the community and the city leaders, or between the community and the police department, is that you will not have improvement. But back to your original question, is how important that trust, to develop trust between the community and the citizen is very important. Because as a politician, you need to trust the citizen. And at the same time, is that the citizen needs to trust the politician. So in other words, do not promise anything to where you can't deliver.
So where would you say that our current trust level is between citizens of Columbus and our current elected officials? And if necessary, how would you improve it?
Well, it depends on the elected official. I can only speak for myself. Is that if you're referring to me personally, as far as from a trust standpoint, is that when people come to me with a complaint, citizens come to me with a complaint, is that I would tell them I would take it under consideration or take it under advisement. Is that I'm not going to come out, even if I'm out politicking, where some people say that if you want me to vote for you, you got to promise me this, you got to promise me that. I don't make no promises of that magnitude. Is that I'll say whatever your concerns and issues are, I'll take it under consideration, and as long as it's legal, we'll see what we can do as far as the finances are there to adhere to whatever your request is. Because you got to remember is that in order for to get anything done, you must have 4 votes. And from the special charter that the City of Columbus is under is that you have what you call a weak mayor and a strong council. In other words, the mayor can make all the recommendations he or she may want to make, but if you can't get 3 votes, so vote to break the tie is maneuver.
This is a question from Carissa Smith. The city is budgeted for at least 70 police officers. Will those available positions be filled?
Well, we budgeted for 67 during our budget process. Right now, we're at about 55. We had 8 that was sworn in at our last council meeting on last Tuesday night, and they'll be going to the academy in Moorhead, 8 of them, in May. So to answer your question as to whether or not we'll get to 71, well, it's 67 that was budgeted for. Now, as far as getting to 67, I hope we get to 67 before the year's over with. We had 2 career days. One was, I believe, was on March the 5th, and the other was on March the 25th. And we end up with probably about 35 applicants. And so I'm hoping that we get to the 67 before the year's over with. If we get to 65 would be great, because also what the council did on last year, besides the 67 that was budgeted, once we made it to the 67, then there was money added to where it could increase the patrol up to 77. The police department have what you call 4 shifts, 100, 200, 300, 400 shifts, and on each shift we would hope that we would get to where you could have at least 10 officers on the shift. Right now, we're working with 7 to 8 officers on the shift. So to answer your question is that I hope we get there before the year is over with. If we get to 65, we're doing good.
So for many residents, it seems that the main priority of the current administration is to hire more police officers. Why, for example, then, is the city not using some of those resources to hire more teachers in the city or in the city schools? Or why aren't resources used to hire more educators?
And what you have to realize is that from the mayor and city council standpoint, we have nothing to do with the Columbus Municipal School District. Only thing the mayor and the city council does is that we appoint the 5 board members. And once we appoint the 5 board members, they have a superintendent. And that's the superintendent and the board responsibility, not the mayor and the council as far as hiring staff for the school district. Also, just for a train of thought, is that once you appoint those school board members, that board is an autonomous board. The mayor and the council have no jurisdiction as far as micromanaging, telling that board what to do, how to do it, when to do it, once they're appointed.
With crime increasing in areas where college students are most likely to be present, some students here at the W are concerned about safety in Columbus. What will your administration do to better work with students here at the W on issues that directly affect us?
Well, number one, from the mayor's office standpoint and from the president's office standpoint with Dr. Warsick and I have a great working relationship. As far as from a safety standpoint, is that our chief of police and the person in charge of security here have a great working relationship together. We partner on several programs concerning safety as far as working with the City of Columbus and the MUW campus. So we're just a phone call away.
So how influential are millennials, those that are born between 1980 and 1999, how influential are their plans and their perspectives and the practices of the City of Columbus? So in other words, how many of them are invited to the table to weigh in on Columbus decisions, and how are they, or how will they be selected?
As far as millennials having input, is that just like election going on now, this is where millennials or whomever that are citizens of the City of Columbus have an opportunity now to make your decisions as to who your leader should be. But as far as them coming to the table, from the mayor's office standpoint, is that the door is always open. I use what you call an open door policy concept. If I'm not tied up, you don't need an appointment. You stop by, you're welcome to come in and discuss any issue, concern that you have. And our council meetings are always open to the public, to where you can voice your concerns and sentiments concerning the city of Columbus.
What is the future of nightclubs and bars within our community?
Nightclubs and bars in our community.
Yes, sir.
Well, for an example, we had an issue with the Princess Theater, and with the Princess Theater, we changed the time, reduced from 1:30 to 10 o'clock, and then after several meetings with the citizens that live in the area in the proximity of the Princess Theater, and the owners and the attorneys, along with myself, the CEO, the COO, and the chief of police and his command staff, we came to a compromise to where that we want to do what was in the best interest of not only your clubs, but also and what's in the best interest of the citizens also. So the compromise is that we changed the time for an 8-week time period and moved it from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock for 8 weeks. And thereafter, if things work out okay, if the owners, what they said they would do, the city do what they said they would do, then the owner will come back and ask to go back to the regular time. What the owner did is that in the back section of the Princess, the Oxford logo was like 325, the front section was 163. So he agreed to close the back section down and just only open up the front section. So what the city did, also from a safety standpoint, I myself met with Mr. Todd Gill, Executive Director of the Columbus Light and Water Department, and we increased the lighting to what you call the Central District. The Central District is from 5th Street, where the Light and Water Department is, to Franklin Academy School, and from where the City Hall is at 6th Street in Maine to the Welcome Center. That was called the Central District. So what we have done, and they already started yesterday, is increasing the wattage there from what was like 400 watts. So now you have two 400 watts on one utility pole and 1,000 watts. So you have 1,800 watts on each pole. Also, the city is in the process of installing surveillance cameras. They'll be installed from the Light and Water Department to 5th and Main.
So, kind of going back toward the question about our officers, an increase in officers could reflect the state of our community. And it is observed by many citizens of Columbus that, it can be a place of frustration for like our bright, upcoming young professionals, leading them to kind of migrate to other counties. My question then is, how important is it to make room for these talents that will be contributors to our community and not lose them to somewhere else?
Well, from the mayor and city standpoint, we, as I said from the beginning, we provide all the resources that requested from the chief. Matter of fact, for an example, is that we increased the salary. I made a recommendation after talking to the chief back in December. We increased the salaries and hoping that would be a morale booster, and was hoping that would be a recruitment tool. We increased the salary for a beginning police officer from $31,000 to $34,986. And then once that officer became certified after a year, that officer's salary would increase to $37,000. And if you think about the average teacher, beginning teacher salary, beginning is probably about $32,000 to $33,000. So a beginning police officer now in the city of Columbus salary is more than a beginning teacher. Also, by doing that, some of the officers' salary increased overnight. Once the vote was taken, like they received a $5,000 increase. Also, as an incentive to the officers, the chief is providing them with take-home calls to where they can carry the cars home. So we're doing everything we can from the mayor and city council standpoint, is working with the chief as to what his requests are, as far as trying to get the officers that have been budgeted for. So we're doing what we asked to do and what we need to do, and hopefully by continuing having these career days, that we'll get where we need to be in the next 2 or 3 months.
Homelessness has become a rising issue in our community. Are there any plans for shelters?
Are you referring to home shelters?
Yes, sir.
That have been discussed. We had an interlocal governmental committee that was between the mayor and the council and the board of supervisors. It's been discussed on numerous issues. It's the price and the liability. So it's still in the discussion stages, but it's very expensive to provide home shelters.
Speaking of costs, how will the operations of the new amphitheater be handled?
Well, once it's completed, we already have 2 venue consultants, promoters, if you want to say, we call them venue consultants, that have already applied. And what we're planning on doing once it's completed is to take RFPs. That amphitheater is like the first phase of it should be complete in June. Craddock Construction is the contractor for the first phase, and it's a $3.35 million first phase project. And as I said, it should be completed in June. The second phase, and this money is no cost to the citizens of the city of Columbus. This was money that was funded through the state of Mississippi, where Representative Jeff Smith introduced this bill about 2 years ago, and the local delegation supported him with the idea. We went back this year and requested additional $2 million, because in the first phase, the amphitheater, the stage will be completed in June. All the underground utilities have been ran, your sewer, your water, your lights will be there. And the second phase, we hope that we asked for $2 million, $1 million was in the bond bill. And the bond bill was killed, and hopefully when the legislature reconvene and have a special session, hopefully that the money will be added back in there sometime before the summer is over with. But to answer your question is that we'll have venue consultants that will be operating once it's complete.
Well, with a concern for, ever-growing concern for jobs, who will be in charge of hiring the staff for the amphitheater, and how many jobs do you envision the amphitheater actually providing for citizens?
The venue consultant will handle that for the city of Columbus. Now, as far as jobs, how many jobs it will be, it could be from 50 to 100 jobs. But right now, I cannot give you a concrete figure.
There's concern that recycling in the city has deteriorated. Could you discuss the future of recycling in Columbus?
Recycling?
Yes, sir.
Recycling is a great idea. That was one company that was doing recycling for the city, and I thought they was doing great, and some of the schools was doing recycling. And as far as the recycling company, it just decided to move on. So I would hope that from the mayor and city's standpoint, that some other company will come in and continue the recycling efforts.
What can we do to improve the relations between the mayor and the people of the city?
What can you do to improve the relationship between the mayor and the citizens of the city? As for a citizen,
Yes,
as I said earlier, my door is always open. And that anyone have a complaint is that once my secretary, whether it's an email, or text message, phone call, is that I try to return calls if I don't, emails if I don't get them the same day, because a lot of times I'm out at different workshops or venues out of town, but once I return, I try to return those calls and accommodate the city of Columbus. So as far as a relationship, is that I'm always open to the citizens.
After 10 years, why do you want to be mayor again?
Sometimes, you know why I answer that? And that's a great question. Because unless you sit in that chair, you have no earthly idea what you have to deal with. Well, to answer your question first, is just something, I like dealing with people. And I guess that came about from my time in the school system, as far as dealing with students, teachers, school board members and all. I just love dealing with people. So that's one of the reasons, I guess you could just say that he must be crazy. People call you about dogs barking and scaring me. You need to stop my neighbor dog from barking. And you know, my question is, how can I stop a dog from barking? Will you come over here and I have a snake in my car, under my carport, and I remove the snake, and I said, well, I'm just afraid of that snake as you are. And the statement that was made to me one day said that, well, your predecessor, Mr. Rupp, he used to come and get steaks, and I said, you know what? You might want to call him Mississippi Steak, because I'm just afraid of snakes as you are. That's why during the spring of the year, I don't even use the river walks. And even though we sprinkle suffer down, but
Thank you.
As a future educator myself, that believes that our future begins in the classrooms and oftentimes ends up in the streets, how would you like to increase that for educators? How would you like to increase involvement for educators and students in the classroom?
well, number one, education is the key to success. And if you're not educated and don't come up with, end up in some type of education, then that's a part of the crime. Because a lot of crime is committed from students that are just not educated, they just out there, and they have to try to find something to do. So that's why education is the key to success. That's why I made the statement in the beginning, is that from the mayor and city council standpoint, as long as I'm mayor, is that, you know, I want to work with the school system, as far as the board, the superintendent, to do whatever needs to be done to make sure that every student get a quality education or the best education available. And by educating students, that will help a lot of the problems that we deal with. And from the standpoint of students not getting an education, is that, you know, if you an old timer like I am, you know, it was sort of difficult during my time, but now it's no excuse for a student getting a quality education if they really want to get an education. And college is not for everyone, I'll be the first to tell you that. But at the same time, is that you can learn a skill. Was it VOTEC, EMCC, CMTE program, coming university that coming about there, where you can get, you think about it, I look at a lot of times to where is that you can go to school and get a master's degree. You can get a trade as a plumber, electrician, a carpenter, and in a year's time, you would make double or triple if you do quality work and good work. So, education is the key to success.
What distinguishes you from the other candidates?
I thought we were supposed to say anything. Nah, I'm just teasing. What distinguishes me from the other candidates is that, you know,
You here.
I'll say this, is that I consider myself a leader, and I have tried for the past 10 years to make Columbus a great place to live, work, and raise a family. And also, now, whatever the case may be, I could have came up with an excuse and say that, you know, I was tied up, or I could have came up with any excuse. But I'm here, right? And that's what distinguishes me personally. What I would say is that I have leadership skills, I have organizational skills, administrative skills, and planning skills. And that's what I think you need to be an effective mayor for the city of Columbus.
With that, now we will take remarks from the audience. Questions from the audience. Sorry, we have another question. What is your opinion about public transportation? How do you, what is your stand on public transportation?
We need public transportation. We got hoodwinked once we were dealing with a company out of Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana. And I'm not really privileged to say this, but as we speak, we are in the process of working with a company on providing public transportation for the city of Columbus. So it is in the works. And hopefully by September this year, it will be in full force.
All right, now we will proceed with our questions from the audience. Any audience member has a question, I'm going to get a microphone to you.
I can probably do it without it. I was just wondering, so where does the school board and the superintendent of schools get their budget? And do you think that budgeting issues, like, do you think the budget is sufficient right now?
Do I think the budget is sufficient
Yes,
to
where
operate
does it
this?
come from? Like, how does it get allocated?
I think it is for the previous year, because talking to Mr. Andrews, in January, they had exceeded their request. The school district operates off about 61 meals, which is the equivalent to about $206,000, and the city operates off a 43.69 meal, which meal is valued at $179,000. So the answer to your question is that until we be to start the budget process again from the school district, we don't know what their request will be to operate, and their needs will be for the upcoming school year, which will be 2017-18. But at the present time, to answer your question, I would say yes.
Will there be any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question about, well, so I'm relatively new to Columbus, and so my question is about how Columbus can attract more businesses. to the area. I know that there are a lot of empty storefronts, both in downtown and on like the 45 strip that a lot of us shop on. So is there any sort of cohesive plan to attract businesses to the area?
As far as from your local, as far as downtown, your 45 corridor, 82 corridors, as far as attracting new business, we work with the link, continue on a daily basis. Ms. Brenda Latham normally handle retail development and assist Mr. Joe McHiggins from the industrial development standpoint. So to answer your question, yes ma'am, they're constantly working daily to attract new businesses for your storefronts downtown and also as far as 45 and 82. And for the example, J.C. Penney's will be moving out soon. We're already in the works as far as to bring in some high-scale store like a Kohl's or something like that, because the Columbus loses a lot of money from a sales tax standpoint to Tupelo, Tuscaloosa, Jackson, Memphis, and Birmingham. So there are 3 developers working with the link and the mall owners trying to purchase it, the mall, to where they can take in where J.C. Penney was and Cowboy Maloney. But to add to the question that you asked, yes ma'am, they're working daily as far as trying to attract new business to the city of Columbus.
And I'm sorry, what is the link? You said the link?
Yes, it's sort of like a chamber.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
yes ma'am.
Mayor Smith, right now, the cable company in Columbus is Cable One. Will you all be bringing in another cable company to compete with Cable One because of the monthly costs and prices that we have to pay every month for Cable One, and considering what comes on Cable One, the option that we have in television shows to look at? A lot of them are old shows, like from the 70s and what. Now, I'm not against, the Jefferson, Sampson, and the Brady Bunch, but I grew up with Marshall and all of them. I do not want to watch the Brady Bunch every day. So I'm just wondering, will you have a competing cable company for us to choose from?
Well, you do have an option as far as direct TV, but to answer your question as far as the cable company, is that we receive numerous complaints about the cable company as far as the service that they provide. But, we did a contract with the cable company, and it's pretty tough to try to regulate the cable company. So to answer your question bluntly is that right now, from the mayor and city council standpoint, we have not reached out to another competitor for the cable company.
Good evening, Mayor Smith. Back here.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you being here this evening as well. Thank you for taking your time to do that. Our question would be, if re-elected, what would you say would be the 2 to 3 most important issues for you in going forward in the improvement of the city?
Well, one I answered earlier, Brother Matthews, is to do whatever it takes to make Columbus a more safer place to live, work, and raise a family. Also, as far as job creation, job for youth. As far as, when you talk about jobs, as far as from your manufacturing standpoint, is that, an example, Airbus, PACCAR, whatever the case may be, well, some individuals might not want to go out to EMCC and come up with excuses. They want a job, but they don't have transportation. But the way I look at it, if you want to get to A to Z in Columbus or Mayhew, is that you can get there. So we need to look at smaller scales as far as jobs as far as from a retail development standpoint, as far as trying to create more jobs for our youth. That'll help keep them out of jail and help keep them out of trouble. And the third one would be from an infrastructure standpoint, is that normally we do milling, paving, striping, doing reflectors, sidewalk, curb gutters on a 2-year scale. And you know just as well as I do, is that it's, as far as getting where you want to get from an infrastructure standpoint, is that I would hate to think of how much money it would take, but at the same time, we need to do a better job. And if I'm reelected, I promise to do a better job as far as trying to get more geo bond to where you can see improvement on a yearly basis as far as from the infrastructure standpoint, rather than every 2 or 3 year standpoint. Also, from a recreational standpoint, is that something that is mandatory, because we have a problem concerning the recreation. You know, the county and the city will split October 1. So from the city standpoint, I mentioned earlier, to where we definitely gonna have to, we have already started working with Mr. Lewis as far as coming up October 1, a comprehensive plan that would include the youth, our adults, our senior citizens, and our citizens with handicaps. We need to provide more recreational activities for the entire city of Simpson, from the youth to the adults to the senior citizens. So I gave you 4 instead of 3. Good question.
Thank you, sir.
Will there be,
Be any other questions from the floor at this time? Okay. On behalf of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, as well as the MUW College Democrats, we would like to thank Mayor Smith for being here with us tonight. Let's give him a hand. We'd like to thank you for your 10 years of dedication and service to our community, and we do wish you the best on May 2nd.
Thank you.
At this time, I would like to thank you, the community members, students, faculty. I see you in the house with us tonight as well, and staff for coming out with us tonight. We also would like to announce that on Thursday night at the Columbus Municipal Complex, there will be another mayoral candidate forum. It will start at 6 o'clock, so it's right across the road, and we hope that you can come out and join us there as well. I would like to ask that all city leaders, pastorals, any type of city administration, would you please remain behind? Everyone else, thank you and have a blessed night.